Hi, my name is Tina Bentley, and I'm going to be reviewing this Doctrinal Mastery curriculum unit. Um, so this is the homepage for this unit, and I like that it's nice and straightforward. It tells the students exactly what they're going to need to do. Students shouldn't have any problem finding what they need the way it's laid out, with navigation here on the left. And it's got some nice resources here. It's got some couple of videos and a calendar for like if they actually did the class, they'd have everything in here. Which is really nice to have that for students, especially those of students who are more linear. That's really great. One of the things I would say, just looking at this from like my perspective, is that the coloring is a little drab. I could see students going on here and being like, ugh, this is boring and we haven't even done anything yet. So just to have them go here and see it and think it's going to be boring without even looking at anything first might be an issue. And the other thing I've noticed just looking at the different course pages and things like that is there aren't really any images. It'd be really great to have some images added. The content's fantastic. So you just need some like sprucing up a little, whether it's like adding some images or something along those lines. So your introduction page here is very clear. Students will know what's going to be covered in this course. The fact you use a Google site works really well for your content. Since you're a full-time seminary teacher, I'm not really sure what resources you may or may not have versus someone who works within the school system. So I wasn't really sure, as someone who doesn't teach seminary, I wasn't sure about that. I did teach at a parochial school, so our whole school would have had a religious course within it, but it was not separate like seminary tends to be. All right, so moving on. The next tab here is about the instructor. It's a nice component for your online course. You have both of the co-instructor on here, a little bio. What our group did, our course unit, we didn't put anything like that in there, but this looks really great. Next one here, learning outcomes. This page is really simple and straightforward, again, which is a good thing. It lays out all the students need to know. It's going to tell them exactly what they're going to be covering in this course, which is great. Next button here, course technology. I like this page. Students can make sure they're prepared technologically for what they're going to need for this course. I like that your links like to the Facebook here, it takes them directly to the Facebook group page so that they can join this group here. So it's nice that they've got in here. You have a description. Yeah, it looks good. And I like that the Google Meet thing does the same thing. And this document tracker, which this is great. I hadn't really thought of doing this myself. Hold on, let me get me signed in here. That the fact that you could put this in here and students can see when they finish each week's assignment, they can put the link in here, and so they can see what they've got done and what they haven't got done. It's nice and laid out here, so they have access to everything. They can just see it. I can see how that's really great. The only thing on this page that I thought would be an addition is on the blogs here, like maybe have a link to Blogger or WordPress, so the students can go directly there if they don't have any experience using any of these tools. So I thought that was just one thing you might want to do. Oh, the other thing I had a question about when I was looking at this with the document tracker is there going to be a penalty for students not filling it out? I could see how students would just skip over that step because it's kind of last thing on the list for all the things. I don't know, something to think about. All right, so next thing over here on the left-hand side, so we have student expectations. Once again, they're super straightforward, easy to follow. Students should be able to read these and know what's expected of them. I could see a student looking at this and knowing that they are ready to begin this course or not. And this is also true of the unit expectations as well, which are nice and short and sweet. I also like that you included your social media policy. And what I really like about your social media policy is since this is a religious course, um, you added that component into your social media policy. So it's not just this average social media policy. Like it makes I think could make a greater impact because that the way that you're doing, like the first thing here, understanding the influence of Christ-like love and things like that, that show that the students that this isn't just about social media, but everything. What I also really like about this is that you have a form at the bottom of the page here that students need to sign saying that they have agreed to it and everything. So that's good. I know it sounds terrible, but it's almost like we need things like that in our day and age of liability issues. All right, so the next section here is on assignments. So this is where all of the assignments are housed. It's nice to have this home page here because over here on the left-hand side, it has a week 1, week 2, etc. All the way down the side. But what I like about this too is it kind of gets a title for what they're going to be doing each week, so they know. And once again, you got a link here for your document tracker, and then you can also hop to the different weeks here or over here on the left-hand side as well. So we'll go ahead and look at week 1's assignment. I first looked at this page. I was a little overwhelmed when I scrolled and saw how long this list of scriptures is. And without reading anything else, I was like, oh my gosh, do they have to read all of those scripture passages? That's crazy. But then when I read a little further, I realized that they're not responsible for them all, which thank goodness. And then so I was wondering if you could maybe put these into 2 columns and it just would make the page as long and maybe it wouldn't look as so overwhelming from the get-go. So what they're going to be doing, which is really great, is students are going to collaborate, like I said, into small groups of no more than 6 students. And I also like the fact that you tell her at the top what you're going to do, and then you go into detail for part 1, part 2, part 3, etc. And this group assignment sheet, I like that this was the way how students were going to pick which group they're in, and they could see where they fit here and who's in what group, which is also nice. I know all of students all the time forget who's in their group. So it's nice to have a sheet like that where they can pull it up and be like, oh yeah, so-and-so's in my group. That's great. And then once they have their group, they get to decide which of the Bible passages they're going to read, and so they can come over here and pick what they want. I did have a couple questions about that. Does it matter which 3 they pick? Like, do they need to pick from a different column or not? Or do you care if all of them are from the same book? Or does it matter to you or not? Maybe it doesn't. And then moving forward here, they're supposed to, part 3 here, they're supposed to work as a team and do a Google Hangout or Skype, and they're supposed to record it and then post it. I'm wondering if not all your students will have experience doing that, and you might want to include like a how-to video or directions or something on how to do that. I can just see how some kids are like, oh, I've never done that before, I don't know how to do this, and it could be like stressful. So it might be nice to have a video or something included in here so that that's not even a problem. And then it says you're going to post a link to their Facebook page, which is great. And then you'll go fill out the document tracker. I also like that you included a work example for the students. What I thought was hilarious when I opened this, the first thing that popped out to me is this is an example from the Old Testament, Amos 3:7. I thought that was hilarious because I'm like, I would hope that your high schoolers were aware that Amos is in the Old Testament and he's an Old Testament prophet, but I'm sure that that's not always the case, but I just thought it was funny. So moving on. Week 2. In week 2, students are going to curate, which is cool. I think that's a good idea. I might add links here to these guys so that students have a link directly to those sites so they can kind of see what they're going to use. Because I'm sure I would assume that most of your students know all about Pinterest, but the other ones might be probably are going to be new resources for them. I just think this is a great activity and it helps students really synthesize their information from the scriptures that they're reading and find current news that goes along the same topic. It's going to really show if they're understanding it or not. I also like that they only have to choose 15. It says choose at least 15, and you give them 25 options here, so it gives them a little bit of wiggle room. And once again, you've got a really great links to the Facebook group, the document tracker, and example of a student example here using Pearl trees. So the students can kind of see what they're going to be doing, which is great. I'm assuming that this is individual. It doesn't come out and clearly state that, which might be a good thing to add. I also see that they're going to, on part 4, comment on at least 2 other students' Facebook posts. My question about that is if is there a rubric that goes along with that? I know it's always good to have a rubric when dealing with that kind of stuff with my own students. All right, moving on here. Week 3. Week 3, they're gonna be getting to create a collage, which is cool. And they also can choose which tool they use. It's really nice to have it they have some student choice there. And I think this is going to appeal to some students who have a little bit more artistic side that maybe aren't very excited about writing papers and memorizing Bible passages. And these are the same passages again, so they were really able to apply these concepts. The example is great. Again, we've got example here of what one looks like. It's got two examples here completed, so students have that to access. Once again, it says to review others and comment on Facebook. Is there a rubric for that? And is there a rubric for the assignment as well? I don't see really any rubrics at all. It'd be really nice for students to know how they're going to be assessed. And then last but not least is week 4. It's kind of the culmination activity here where they're going to synthesize information and show how it can affect their own life. I really like that the third thing here is what is a personal goal that you'll make to apply this message to your life. I think that's really great that they're doing application there. One of the questions I had about that is, are you going to revisit these goals later? Are they going to be talked about at all later to see if they've been achieved or if they were achievable at all? And things like that. I can see some of these goals kids are going to set if they're really thinking really well about the scriptures here, that they're going to be long-term goals. So I was just curious if you're going to revisit them again. And they do, again, post on each other's Facebook pages. That's great. Fill out the document tracker. And then here, the last link at the bottom here is for their Google Meet groups, and the times are on there, and these links take them directly to those meetings, which is great. Overall, I think this is a really good unit. I can see how it's going to be really easy for high schoolers to use it. It's good to see the students using Facebook as a discussion tool and also allowing them to show their faith in a safe place within a closed Facebook group. So that's pretty cool. So good job, and I hope some of my comments here are helpful as you move forward. Thank you. Bye.